Hello guys, this is Sanam and welcome back to my channel Public White Geek. I've been getting few comments and also requests on Twitter and Instagram about uh, the Google authentication with phone number. So this tutorial is all about phone number authentication using Firebase. So there are two methods to handle this. One is using a push notification, a silent push notification, and the other one is a manual verification. And I'll show you the manual verification in this video. And if you want to see the silent push notification, you can let me know in the comment section below, and then I'll take up that video as well, right? And I'll explain you what is the manual verification, right? So let's get started. Alright guys, as you can see, our Xcode project is open. This is the same Firebase authentication project that we were working previously. You can check out the old videos and you can find it. We have already implemented the email authentication as well as Google sign-in. I believe, as you can see, there is sign-in and Google sign-in. So email and Google sign-in works. And what we need to do is we need to create phone number authentication, and there is a very good documentation. You can check it out on Firebase uh, website. But so let's get started with this one. So on main.storyboard, we have this storyboard file or the view controller, right, where we are putting the email as well as the password. We can create another option which says phone authentication, and then probably go to that particular view controller or storyboard, and then work accordingly on that particular storyboard. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show it on one screen right now, just to give you a quick tutorial on this one, right? So what I'm going to do is hit Alt or Option key and then drag this one right over here. So I'll have a duplicate email, right, and clear constraints, and I'm going to put new constraints over here. 50, 50, 30 and 16 should be good, right? So this is the we can say the phone number, I would say. I'll just put it over here in the placeholder, phone number. So this field is the phone number field, right? There's a lot of things that you can do. You can put up a button over here saying sign in using mobile number, and then take user to another screen, and over there you can show this text field and grab the phone number. So what we will do is we will grab the phone number from this text field and then pass it to Firebase, get a verification code, use that verification code, and then log in the user, right? Alright, so this is where I'm gonna put the phone number, and then for OTP, let's just create another one on top of it. I know it's not a very good design, guys. I'm sorry for that. So I'll just set a width of maybe 150, height of 30 should be fine, and 42 from what? Something is missing. We missed out something. Let me just clear the constraint and let's do it again. Right, so width I'll set it to 150. Height is 30 is fine. Width and height, and then yes, we can do probably like this, horizontally in container. And again something is missing, so add the missing constraint, and we got the top constraint, right? And this phone number I'll set it to OTP. Right, so this is where we're going to enter the OTP or the one-time password. So this is pretty much it for the UI, and we also need one more button, I believe, because we need to, yeah, we need actually two more buttons, and I'll tell you why two. So let me just pull the, and it got opened in the other one. So okay, so button, I'll just put it over here, I guess is fine, and then Command D and duplicate it if it allows me to, right? And then this, and I'm gonna set it to inside a stack view and align this stack view to be horizontally in container, top 30, and let's make height to be 45. Right. So this one, let's say phone, yeah, phone auth or phone is fine, and then this one verify. Since we are using one particular screen, the same screen for phone OTP, I mean entering the phone number, entering the OTP, so we are using two buttons on the same screen. Usually the flow is that user clicks on this phone button and he's redirected to another screen where user will enter his phone number, and then he will press next to get the OTP. And once he gets the OTP, there is another screen where user will enter the OTP, right? Or probably on the same screen, another text field where the user will enter the OTP. But what we are doing is we are setting everything in the same screen, the login screen, just for the tutorial purpose, just for the teaching purpose right now. Okay, so phone and verify, done. And let's hook it up in our view controller file. So pressing Alt or Option key, we can do drag and drop OTP right over here in the outlet section, and we'll say OTP txt, or OU is fine since it's working as OU. I mean, we are following OU, so we'll follow the OU pattern itself. Then is the mobile number, and we'll put the mobile number as well, and I'll say phone OU. Right, so we have the UI text field for phone OU, for OTP to grab the OTP, and then we need a couple of functions as well. I mean the functions for these buttons, so IB actions basically. We'll put those as well. So for phone, I'll do drag and drop action. I'll say phone sign in, and then the other one would be verify OTP pressed. Right, so we have two functions, I mean two IB actions now. One is the phone sign in, where after we press this phone sign in, the mobile number will be grabbed from the text field and passed it on to the Firebase, right? And Firebase will then send us back two things. One is the secret sign-in code and the OTP as well, right? So we pass this secret sign-in code and OTP back to Firebase. We get it verified, and then we are signed in. So this is how the user flow works, or the app flow will go, right? Okay, so in order to play with this phone authentication, we do need to go to our Firebase console, and let me just go there and I'll open it up. Let me just pull it over here. Right, so this is our Firebase console, and if I go inside Firebase Authentication app or the project, right, we can see the authentication section over here, right? And if you remember, we did these authentications we did these authentications, I'm sure. And then inside the sign in method, we have this phone sign in which is disabled, so we need to enable it like this, and then you can click on iOS and then it will redirect you to the documentation, but we're not going to follow that. Down over here, this is an optional thing where you can provide a phone number, a test phone number with the test OTP, right? And once you do that, you can check the sign in to work. So I'll set it up. So since I'm in India, I'll do +91. I'll do maybe 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. It's 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. So we have 10-digit mobile number and the country code, and this is a random number. I mean, just a generic number, or not a generic, but just a test number. There won't be any OTP sent on to this number, so don't worry if it is your number or something. And then verification code, I'm going to put 321321 for now. This is just for the testing purpose. You don't have to do it in your app, and probably you wouldn't do that, but it's good to have something like this, because under the free plan of Firebase, they have a limit on how many. Let me just enable this, right? So they have a limit on how many OTPs you can get for free every month, right? So you should really put something like this, so that while you are developing, you don't utilize those OTP limit. And also in your app, you should have a restriction, like maybe within 1 or 2 minutes you cannot receive more than 2 or 3 OTPs, something like that, right? So I'll save this, and from Firebase console, our project is ready to receive the request for phone authentication. I'm just gonna put it back, and we are right over here. Right, so inside this one, we also need to do one more thing, which is to get the client reverse ID. And how to get that, I'll tell you. It's very simple, it's straightforward actually. So you just need to go to your Google service -info.plist, and then you just close this, and then this is right over here. You can see reversed client ID. So just copy this, go to your Firebase authentication project, and click on info. Down at the URL types, I think we have already put this, right? Let's try. Yeah, so we already have this. So we need to have this in order to get this thing working, because we are using a manual verification, which is the CAPTCHA verification. So basically there are two ways of authenticating of using this phone authentication. One is a silent APN, which is when a user click on phone verification, he sends his phone number to Firebase. Firebase will send a silent push notification to the user's phone to verify that it has been sent to the request has been sent by the correct device, right? So Firebase will send a silent push notification that your user will not see. The second option, and once that is verified, then Firebase will send the OTP. And the second option is where user clicks on the phone sign in, he sends his phone number to Firebase, and then Firebase will send back the CAPTCHA page, the robot CAPTCHA page that we get on Google. Once you verify that, then the OTP will be received to the user, right? So we are using this CAPTCHA method right now, because in order to use the push notification, we need the API Apple push notification certificate. So I can do that, but in the next video, not in this one, right? You can let me know if you want that video as well, and I'll do that. Okay. Yeah, so coming back to the app, this is what we need for the for this authentication to work. So from here on, it's pretty straightforward. There is nothing much complicated. So I'll just tell you how to do it. First one is, we'll call phone auth provider dot provider. My period key, the keyboard period key is still not working, and E key is still not working properly. Provider dot verify phone number, and you can see the first parameter it is asking for is the phone number itself in the form of string. Guys, one important thing, that the phone number has to be provided in the specific format, which is plus, then the country code, and then the phone number. There is no space or anything in this particular string, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'll do guard let phone number is equal to, what was the, it's phone OU. So I'll do phone OU dot text is else return. So I'm not checking the empty text field right now. I'm just checking that it can be changing it from optional to phone number, and then passing that phone number right over here. Phone number. Delegate, I'll set it to nil for now. And so once you so we'll get two things back. The callback method will give us two values. First one is the verification ID, and make sure that this ID is not the OTP. This is a secret ID that I was talking about. So this is a verification ID, and the next one is the error. So we can say if error is equal to nil. So if there is no error, then we will do something over here, do something, and else, oh my god, cannot even type today, else we'll say print, and we'll say unable to get secret verification code from Firebase, and we can print error dot localized description. Right, so if there is error, we'll print this message, else we will, that is in the if actually. So here we will do something, and what are we gonna do? So if we get this verification ID back, so let's try to just print this verification ID, and we will know what to do with it later on. Right, so let's try to run this, and let's see. Right, so in the phone number, I'll say we'll do plus 919999999999. So this is what we did, right? The one more problem we have in our app right now is that I cannot hide this keyboard, so I'll just put a small extension. It's a quick extension that I'll put right over here, and I'm gonna call it extension, and inside this let me just copy my extension. So right over here, Control save. If you want this, you can find it in the GitHub repo that I'll upload it. You can find this extension, and then in view did load, I just need to do that one. So we'll just call this function, and then tapping outside the text field, it will hide the keyboard. There are multiple ways to do it, guys. I have this small extension created for myself, so you can see that it's gone, right? So I'll do plus 91 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right, and I'll tap on phone, and you can see we are redirected to the captcha page right now. Once Google identifies that we are not so cars 1 2 3, these are the only cars I believe right now. Yeah, so once Google will identify that we are not a robot, then you can see right over here there is the verification ID, the secret code that we got, right? Okay, perfect. One small change that I want to do in this text field is I want to make it content type. I'll set it to number. So I'll set it to telephone number, and then keyboard type I'll set it to phone pad. Make sure you set it to phone pad and not the number pad, because phone pad will have plus sign as well as the pound sign. We need plus sign for this one, right? You can do it without, I mean, you can use the number pad if you are making some other logic wherein user selects the country and the country code is provided automatically by your app, right? So user doesn't need to enter plus 91 or plus 92 or any other country code, right? Right, so phone pad, and then let's also do this one over here, and we'll set it to one-time code, and in the keyboard type I'll set it to phone pad again. Make sure you set this OTP to one-time code, because if you do that, then in iOS 12 it will automatically fetch the OTP for you from the SMS, and we will see that happening, right? So let's try to run this again, and let's see now. Alright, as you can see, the keyboard layout has changed to numbers, and we can do plus 91999999. So basically we can do this right over here and here as well, and tapping out, it works perfect. Next thing is we'll go back to view controller.swift. Now we got this, where were we? Right over here. So we got this verification ID, and next one is to basically authenticate this verification ID along with the OTP, right? I'll show you one thing. I'm just gonna put my own number, and it's gonna be blurred now. And if I tap on phone, now you will see that I will receive an OTP. I did not get the OTP last time because it was a fake number. It was a test number basically. Hydrant, sorry. And we wait and we wait and we wait, and we should be able to receive the OTP, but I will not receive it because I have DND enabled, right? And I'm gonna put this to the other screen, and I'll open the OTP and then I'll bring it back. So you can see, guys, the last OTP, this one. So I did receive the OTP, and I'm gonna show it again to you guys. So I'm gonna tap on phone, and then let's see. This will be a problem because you will have to verify this again and again, but once or twice you're done, then Google will not ask you to do it, right? And I tapped on phone, and I should have received the OTP by now. I think I have received the OTP, and again the DND thing might have created the problem. So we'll come back to this, and so I did receive the OTP, as you can see on the SMS, right? And after receiving the OTP, what's next? We need to pass on that OTP to this OTP section, and then click on verify, right? So we'll set up the verify function now, which is again very simple. So what we need to do is similar thing, guard let, and I'm going to remove this, right? So guard let OTP code is equal to OTP OU.text else return, right? Again, we are not checking if it's empty or not, we are just checking that we are able to fetch it and take it out of optional and keep it in OTP code, right? The next one is we need to create a credential. Why? Because this is the method that will be used. So auth dot auth dot it's called auth dot sign in and retrieve data, right? So this is the function that will be used for signing in the user, and we will say success and error, and we will come back to this later. We will come back to you later. Okay, so this is the method that will be used for this phone authentication, and as you can see it requires auth credential, right? So we need to create that credential. So let's do it like let credential is equal to phone auth provider dot credential with verification ID and verification code. So this verification ID is this verification ID that we have it right over here, and this verification code is the OTP. Uh, Google suggests, or Firebase team suggests, that we should save it in user default, because sometimes user might go outside your app and to get the verification code, and there is a possibility that your app might lose this data, right? So you won't be able to perform this task. So it's better to save it in the user defaults, and we already created user defaults right over here, so we can use that. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So we'll do but one thing, this one was printed in optional, right? So if you can see somewhere down here, not this one, I think it was printed as optional. I think once we run it, I'll be able to show you again that it was printed as optional. So what we can do is we can save this as non-optional value, and how we will do that is guard let uh, verification or verify ID is equal to verification ID. Why is it not coming? Did I do something wrong? Let's put it like this, else return. So now we have verify ID, right? We have this verify ID which we can use to the non-optional verification ID, and then we can store it in the user default, saying self dot user defaults, the small one because we already created that, dot user default dot set, and the value will be verify ID for string verification ID, right? So we are setting it in the user default, and we can also do self dot user default dot synchronize. Right, so we save this verification ID in the user default, and then now we can fetch it even if user changes his app from your app to messages app to fetch the OTP and comes back, it is still stored somewhere, so we can fetch it and we can put it in our credentials, right? So we can do guard let verification ID is equal to what should we do? We can do user defaults dot string for key, and the key is this one, so we can use this key. Right, now the value is moved to verification ID, right? And we can put this verification ID right over here. Now coming to the OTP, again OTP is right over here, we have it available. We can do like that, OTP code, and this is how we created our credentials. So we have the verification code, I mean the verification ID, the secret ID, as well as the OTP code. And now in the auth credential we can do something like credential, and we can say if error is equal to nil, right? If error is equal to nil, we can say print success, and also print user signed in dot and then we can also perform segue to signed in VC. You guys can do this from here, right? I don't need to do this part again and again. And then we can say else print something went wrong, and we can print that something over here, error dot localized description. So I believe this is all we need in order to verify the phone number, and let's try to run this and let's see. First let's try to do it with the test phone number that we used in our Firebase console, and the number was +919912345678 910, right? And let's say we did phone, so now let's say we are back from phone and we also received the OTP. For example, let's say we received the OTP and the OTP was 321321 because that's what we set, right? And we tap on verify. Now let's check this part, and you can see we got the Firebase database result, and then user signed in. So we successfully signed into the database, and now we can create the entries in the database, and we can also segue the user to signed in VC, right? I'm just gonna move this to the other screen for a minute because I need to enable few things and disable few things before I can show you the authentication, I mean the OTP, right? So I'll enter my number, and you should be able to see that I am able to fetch the, why is it like this? Oh. So you will be able to see that I am getting the OTP, and my phone automatically, my app automatically reads that OTP for me and fills it in the OTP section as well, because we selected one-time code as the input section, right? So I'll do that again. I'll blur my number 98, sorry, should not speak. Right, so I tapped on phone, and I'll wait now to get the OTP, and we wait for a few seconds, and you can see that I got the OTP, but I'm not opening the app, I'm not doing anything, I'm just tapping on OTP section, and you can see that I have my OTP. I don't know why it comes in Hindi, I have no idea, but yeah, so I have my OTP available, and if I tap on verify, I should be able to user signed in. And let me just go to Firebase console and let me show you that my user has been created and user has been signed in as well. Right over here you can see this was the test account which got created, and you can see providers was phone, and this one is my own number, and the provider is phone, and the ID as well. Probably this section I'm gonna blur, my phone number section is gonna be blurred. So you can see this is how you create a phone authentication with Firebase. There is a way to avoid that captcha screen, which is by using the APN, the Apple Push Notification Service. We can do that, and if you guys want to see that, just let me know in the comment section, and then I should be able to record the video very soon. And by the way, the second video that I'm gonna record and probably upload it tomorrow or day after tomorrow is gonna be on the Firebase push notification service itself. So that was also another request from someone who commented that he's still waiting for the Firebase push notification, Google push notification. So I'll record that video as well tomorrow, and then I'll push it on YouTube. So that's it for this video, guys. Please like my channel, subscribe my channel, like this video, share it, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.